Welcome back everyone. Time to do another comparison this time around between the newly released Samsung Galaxy Note 20 and the somewhat old iPhone 10. Now last year I made the Note 10 versus iPhone 10 and a lot of you guys liked it, so I figured I might as well do the Note 20 versus the iPhone 10. Now the Note 20, first of all, is that $1,000 brand new phone. It's going to cost $1,000 to pick up. In a couple of weeks, probably a couple of months, it's going to go down quite a bit in the price tag. But as of right now, it's costing $1,000. With the iPhone 10, when it first came out in 2017, it did cost $1,000, but right now you can pick them up for around that $400 price tag. They do fluctuate a little bit in prices, but you can usually find one for around that $400. So if you want to pick either of these up, I'll leave them linked down in the description below. You can get them from Amazon and help support the channel at the same time. Now starting off with the front panel of both of these, the iPhone 10 has a 5.8-inch Super Retina OLED display. The resolution is 1125 by 2436, and it's a pretty good looking panel, you know what I mean? Like, it's smaller overall than the Note 20 as expected. The Note 20 is a pretty big phone. The iPhone 10 is a good sized phone in the hand, and it looks really good still, you know what I mean? When you look at the 11 Pro and you look at even the iPhone 12s coming out, all these phones are probably going to have notches, and something like the iPhone 10 isn't really that bad to look at. It's not an ugly phone by any means. It's a good looking phone. You have the notch up top, which some people like, some people don't. I'm kind of used to it. My 11 Pro I use as a main device has a notch and I'm pretty much used to it, but it's totally up to you. You can use it, you can don't, but it's going to be there regardless. The screen itself looks really good. It is an OLED display, and Samsung actually made this display, so it's funny that we're comparing these two phones. And the panel on it looks really good. No high refresh rate or anything, but the Note 20 also doesn't have it. But the iPhone 10's panel, in my opinion, still looks pretty good, and it's definitely one of its assets for sure. With the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 has that 6.7-inch 1080p panel, so it's a little bit low resolution. It also has a lower PPI than the iPhone 10, so that's something to keep in mind. That one is a Super AMOLED Plus display, and again, it's not a bad display, but compared to even the iPhone 10, I feel like the iPhone 10's panel is a little bit sharper. The Samsung Galaxy Note 20's panel is just a little bit weirder. It's not bad by any means. It's a really good panel. It's a hole punch display too, and you have that fingerprint sensor in the display as well, which I think is a really huge asset for this phone. But compared to something like the iPhone 10, you may seem to find that the iPhone 10 has a better looking panel, with the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 has a bigger panel. So that's something you're going to have to ask yourself which one you prefer. I'm sure a lot of people might prefer a bigger phone than a smaller phone, but I do think that the panel on the iPhone 10 may actually look a little bit better than the panel on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. On the bottom, the Note 20 has the USB Type-C port, the iPhone 10 has a Lightning port, and on the back, you can kind of see a different setup on both. Now the camera placement's pretty much the same on both. You have a triple camera setup on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20, whereas on the iPhone 10, you have a dual camera setup. Now the iPhone 10 has a glass back, and it feels really good in the hand, wireless charging on it, and it feels like $1,000 phone still. It still feels like a flagship device. Of course, compared to something like the back of the Note 20 Ultra, keep in mind the Ultra version of it, or the OnePlus 8 Pro, or the iPhone 11 Pro, those backs feel a little bit better because they're frosted, but this one still feels very good, you know what I mean? The Galaxy S20 also has a glass back like this, and there's a reason they do it, because it still feels really premium. Whereas on the Galaxy Note 20, we have a plastic back on it for the most part, and for $1,000 phone, that's pretty crazy in my opinion. You should have at least like a glass back, not even the frosted, but at the very minimum a glass back on it. This one is not glass. I don't know what they were thinking. It is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. They both have wireless charging though. You do have reverse wireless charging on the Note 20 though, which is good. But when it comes down to the feeling of the hand, and when you're feeling them both, you feel like you're having a better premium phone from the iPhone 10 than on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. Even though the Note 20 is a newer phone and it's way more expensive, it's over twice the price, the iPhone 10 still feels like the more premium one just because of the back. Had they improved the back quality, I'm sure this phone would have been, suitable for flying colors. A lot of people would have loved it a little bit more, but it's still crazy that Samsung were to push this and then not even to have a full glass back on it, which is so crazy in my opinion. Now the Note 20 has that S Pen, which is really cool. It also has a micro SD card slot. The Note 20 does not have a micro SD card slot, so keep that in mind, but neither does the iPhone 10. They both have IP certification. The iPhone 10 has IP67 dust and water resistance. The Note 20 has IP68 dust and water resistance. And in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it. Like I said, the iPhone 10 is the more premium feeling one. Maybe the Note 20 is the better looking one. That's totally up to you. But in terms of the outside, that pretty much covers it up. Now, in terms of the software, the iPhone 10 came out in 2017. It started off with iOS 11, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get in a couple more years of software support. Probably going to end in like 3 years, around the same time that the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 will also end off. That phone is starting off with Android 10, and in my opinion, yeah, it's probably gonna end around the same time as the Note 20, I don't really think one is really going to outlast the other one by quite a bit, but a very important thing to keep in mind is that either one of these phones that you pick up today, either the iPhone 10 or the Note 20, maybe you already have both of them, they're still going to be lasting for a couple more years of support. So it's not like you're going to get these today and have to worry about them tomorrow. That's not the case at all. You'll be able to use both of these for a very long time and not have to worry about a lot of different things that, are gonna, come up in terms of these problems. So in terms of the software, you're going to be set. You're just going to have to ask yourself, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer iOS or Android? You're going to have to make a decision based on that. So in terms of the software, that pretty much covers it up. Now in terms of the performance, and I did a speed test, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about when I'm explaining this. The iPhone 10 has the Apple 11 Bionic chip, hex-core CPU with 3 gigs of RAM on each model, where the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus chipset, an octa-core CPU, an Adreno 650 GPU, and 8 gigs of RAM on that single model. So in terms of the performance, as you can see, I did ultimately find that the Galaxy Note 20 was the faster performing device as expected. It pretty much loaded every single app faster than the Note 20, which, like I said, is expected. It's a very fast device, and it's probably one of the faster phones of 2020, but at the same time, I still feel like, and you just kind of have to understand it when I say this, on the iOS side, it's still a smoother device, I think. When I'm closing out of apps, just the whole UI in general just feels more polished and more smoother on the iPhone side, even on something like an iPhone 10. So if app opening speeds and performance is your number one thing, the Galaxy Note 20 is probably the best way to go. You're going to find it, being able to open apps and seeing less glitched frames overall in the UI. But on the iPhone 10, you're going to feel like you have a smoother experience, like I stated. You're going to feel like if you swipe out of an app, it's, pretty much gone. It's way more fluid. There's way less sounds and bells and whistles and all that stuff going on with the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. I say it all the time. So in terms of that, you're probably going to get a better experience, I think, from an iPhone 10, a smoother experience at that, but you're going to get a faster experience on a phone like the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. So in terms of performance, that's kind of what I would say. But at the end of the day, the Note 20 is the faster one. You have to give it the benefit of the doubt. Without even the benefit of the doubt, it's going to be the faster one regardless. So in terms of performance, that really pretty much covers it up there. Now hitting on the cameras, the Note 20 has a triple camera setup on the back, 12 megapixel wide, 64 megapixel telephoto, then 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor, where the iPhone 10 has a 12 megapixel wide and a 12 megapixel telephoto lens, so a dual camera setup on the iPhone 10. Now both can do 4K at 60, however the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 has a really cool thing at being able to shoot 8K videos. Now I'm sure a majority of people out there don't even shoot 4K videos, they probably don't even shoot 1080p at 60, but still having that capability of doing 8K will really future-proof yourself for the future. Basically, at some point, it's not going to be tomorrow, it's probably not going to be next year, but at some point, 4K videos will be the new 1080p. So whenever people shoot 1080p videos, that's going to be like 4K in a couple of years. Our phone storage is going to get bigger. It's going to adapt, just like how, 360p or whatever is 340p, whatever it is. That used to be the norm, and now it's 1080p for the most part. Even HD, that used to be the norm, but it's going to get bigger and better. And trust me, having 8K is really cool. So that's already a plus points there. You have the additional ultra wide sensor on the Note 22, and I just think the quality of the photo and videos are better on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 than on the iPhone 10. So in terms of the back camera setup, I'll probably give it to the Note 20. Even on the front camera setup, 10 megapixel on the Note 20, 7 megapixel on the iPhone 10. You have the ability of shooting 4K at 60 on the Note 20 as well, which is really cool. So in terms of the camera setup, I will probably give the edge to the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 over the iPhone 10 in my opinion. Now ending it off with the battery life, you have a 2716 mAh battery on the iPhone 10, but a 4300 mAh battery on the Galaxy Note 20. And in this case again, I will probably give the edge to the Note 20. Not only do you have wireless charging on both, but you have reverse wireless charging on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 as well, which is a really cool feature. Not a lot of phones have that capability, but they're slowly gaining them, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 has it, where the iPhone 10 does not. But the iPhone 10 battery, in my opinion, wasn't really that bad. It's always been pretty good for the most part, but in my opinion, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 actually has a better battery life, mostly because the screen is low resolution, even though it's a bigger display, but ultimately it comes down to the more optimized chipset and the way bigger battery inside of it too. I mean, it's over like 1500 milliamp bigger or whatever it is. I don't even know the number, but it's a big size battery for sure. Now to kind of sum up the video and to answer the question, which phone should you pick up? If you have the iPhone 10, should you get the Note 20 by vice versa. I'll tell you right now, if you have the Note 20, it's the best phone on the market, obviously, but I would not recommend going down to the iPhone 10. I think everybody knows that. But if you have an iPhone 10, I would say keep it for a couple more years, man. Like, that phone is a killer device. I would not go from an iPhone 10 to a Note 20. If I was looking at both of these, obviously I would go for the Note 20. But if I had to go pick one of these, I would probably pick the Note 20, obviously. But the iPhone 10 is a better bang for dollar. You're going to get more for your dollar than the Note 20, in my opinion. You're picking up the S Pen and all that stuff. But at that point, I would just pick up a Galaxy Note 10 or a Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Or even an iPhone XS Max. You're going to be getting those type of same, features and everything at a way lower price tag. So I would recommend doing that over picking up the Note 20 currently, or just wait a couple months and wait for the Note 20 to go down in price. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.